Okay. Let's start with what is most important. This is the most devastating day in the history of Virginia Beach. The people involved are our friends, co-workers, neighbors, colleagues. At this point, I would like to turn things over to Chief Severa to give you the information that we have so far.
I'm going to give the information that we have at this time. As we receive additional information, we will release it when it's appropriate. So what I know at this time is the information we're going to release. Right now, I can tell you we have multiple casualties and multiple fatalities. We have 11 deceased victims. They are at the scene. We had 6 more victims who were transported to area hospitals. I do not have the condition of those victims at this particular time. I can tell you that one of the individuals shot by the suspect is a Virginia Beach police officer, and he was saved by his vest. We've established a Family Assistance Center at Princess Anne Middle School. That's at Nemo Parkway and Holland Road for the employees who worked in Building 2 so that they can meet up with their friends and their families. We're also in the process of identifying all of our victims so that we can make personal notification to family members. We do know that shortly after 4 p.m. this afternoon, the suspect entered Building 2. He's a longtime employee of Public Utilities. I will not release his name at this time. And he immediately began to indiscriminately fire upon all the victims. Officers entered. Once the call went out, the officers were at headquarters. They responded to Building 2. They secured as much of the victims as they could, and then they engaged with the suspect. The suspect did shoot a police officer. Officers returned fire. Suspect is deceased. While the scene is secure, we have a long-term investigative process that's being undertaken right now. There's a lot of work to be done. It's still an active scene. We are being assisted due to the size and scope and intensity of this scene. We're being assisted by the FBI Forensics Unit, DHS Forensics Unit, and the Virginia State Police Forensics Unit. Medical examiner also is en route, which is protocol for the medical examiner's office. Right now we have a lot of questions. The whys, they will come later. Right now, we have more questions really than we have answers. We're a little more than 2 hours into this event. And we use the word event, that's a cop term, this devastating incident that happened that none of us want to be here talking about. This devastating incident which is going to change the lives of a number of families from our city. So my goal will be to update you and confirm additional information as soon as we can. Our next briefing should be at 21:30 hours. We have been told that the governor is en route to this scene. We've been notified by our state senators and by various and sundry other elected officials offering their condolences to our city and to our family of those of us who work in Virginia Beach.
Can you tell us any more about the suspect? Was he a former employee or was he a current?
He's a current employee.
Current employee. And do we know anything about what led to his destruction?
That I'm going to have to hold off, Andy.
What floor was this on?
I'm sorry?
What floor was it on?
It was multiple floors.
Do you know how long the shooting was?
I couldn't tell you how long a shooting occurs. They're usually very quick.
Can you take us inside the movements of the suspect once he entered the building? And we know it's not a secure building because it's a building where people do business in the city. Do we know what he did once he entered?
Again, we are beginning the forensic process of this particular incident, and please understand the size of this incident, the intensity. I've got officers, we have firefighters who entered the building to assist victims. We have our EMS rescue personnel. We had numerous law enforcement officers who entered that building. It's a huge scene, but understand the intensity of this scene. So as more information comes out as to how this unfolded, you will be given the appropriate information when the time is due.
Chief, does the 11 include the suspect?
The
The
11
11 deceased, does it include the suspect?
No.
No, so.
We have 11,
total 12,
we have 11 victims
11 victims.
and the suspect, who's also deceased.
Thank you.
Chief, you've been here a long time, you've been chief a long time, and I can tell because you and I have known each other a long time that you're very emotional about this. I want you, if you would, please, sir, and I know it's tough, to tell us about this evil that hit Virginia Beach today.
There's no way to describe an incident such as this. No chief of police anywhere in the country, no mayor, no city manager, no assistant city manager, no fire chief, no rescue chief ever wants to have to stand up and give information such as this. I think at this particular point, I want to give the utmost respect and dignity to the victims and to their families, because they are going to be forever changed based on this particular incident. The other piece that I think everyone has to remember is we have a number of forensic techs and detectives who are working through this scene and just understand the intensity of what that scene is.
Chief, could you tell us more about the officer who was shot?
The officer was shot and he was basically saved by his bulletproof vest. So he was treated, and I have not had a chance to have a conversation with him, but that will happen tonight.
Chief, the city is shaken. What are your words to people in Virginia Beach?
Well, I can tell you this. The fact that the suspect was immediately confronted, the fact that the suspect is deceased, means that our citizens can rest easy tonight. We do not have someone who's out in the community to do more harm. Can also, to the citizens of our city, really understand that when this particular violent act occurred, police, fire, rescue immediately responded to the scene and did that professional thing that they do, because that's what they do.
Chief, what offices were in that building?
I'm sorry?
Do you know what offices are in that building?
Public Works, Public Utilities, it's the operations building of the city.
Chief, can you say were all of the victims city employees, or were they city employees and customers?
I'm gonna have to hold off on identifying who the exact victims were.
If I could make a statement.
Yes, sir.
Chief, were any city employees injured?
Yes.
Would you identify yourself, sir?
I'm Councilman Aaron Rouse. This day will not define Virginia Beach. We, our citizens, will define our response to this day, Virginia Beach. We will determine going forward today how we respond to our city. We will come together. We will show the strength of our city. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will let you know the next briefing will be approximately 9:30. We will keep you updated as the executive